Good morning, guys. I have a block of mahogany here, 6.5 by 4 by 2. I'm going to be carving a bear today. I printed it out and put it on both sides, just because I didn't want to draw it out. The first step is going to be getting the 2D shape as cleanly as I can. 2 inches is a bit too thick to just handle with the Dremel. I don't want to stress it. So I'm going in with a drill, and I'm going to drill a bunch of holes around these larger chunks, then knock those off. And then I'll use the 561 cutting bit to scrape along the edges to get as clean of a 2D shape as I can. Alright, here we are. 2D shape, as much as possible. Sort of smooth it out a little bit. Cut out the legs, right? Now, I'm gonna I want the head to be sort of turning, so I sort of drew that there. It's pretty hard to get a visual, so I'm gonna draw a line down the back and start to curve the whole thing, including curving the legs. I'll probably draw the paws on, just so I have a reference of how thick I want the legs, and take away all these corners, and bring the stomach in a bit too. All with the 561. Right, so here we've shaped the body sort of, come in a little bit, gone around the legs a little, and around the head, a little bit of a curve. I'm going to take off this paper so that you can get a better visual. I'll probably use something like this, just a regular or just a cutting bit. Okay, the last shot I did was 5 months ago. I'm gonna get back to this. Haven't picked up the Dremel since, so I'm gonna start very slowly with this round cutting bit, because it's not too aggressive. I'm not gonna really cut too deep without noticing. I'm gonna start to shape the head and the legs, and probably just the general curves, and see where we get. Alright, it's going well. Yeah, I'm still using this round bit, and I'm making very quick, light passes, almost like a sketch, so that I don't cut too deep. I'm just sort of shaving around it, rounding it off, and getting the shape that I want. It's still a little bit blocky, so I'm trying to cut these corners a bit more to give it a bit more of a spine. I'll probably cut in the stomach a little bit too, because I don't want it to be too rectangular. Okay, in terms of shape, looks alright. I'll quickly go over that corner, but I'm gonna like very roughly sand it with one of these, maybe a sanding disc, just so it's a little smoother, and then I can get a better idea if I like the shape or not. I think it's all carved to my satisfaction. So I'm going to start sanding it. I'm going to use a sanding disc. This one's pretty much homemade. I just cut out a piece of sandpaper and glued it 220 grit. Quick passes just to smooth it out, and then you can see if I want to touch anything up. So I used the sanding disc as much as I could on the outside, and then I went in with a high grit sort of sanding wheel like this to get between the legs and the smaller parts. And then I hand sanded it with 220 grit sandpaper. Now I'm moving on with these sort of buffing wheels. I really like these to get a really nice finish on the wood. Starting out with the lower grit and then working your way up. 4 different grits going up to 400. I'm not going to film that part because it's boring, but I'll come back to oil. Alright, I've finished sanding. That's the final product. I definitely rushed the sanding a little bit, but I think it's good enough. I went up to 1000 grit. It's pretty smooth. I'm going to use a little teak oil finish. This is definitely my favorite part because I used mahogany, so it should have a really nice color. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to give this a pretty heavy layer of oil, let it soak, and then about an hour later, put a second covering of it, and then let it dry overnight. It should be all done. Alright, here's the finished product. The Honduran mahogany. Started out, this is from the same plank. It has this beautiful color now, a nice shine, both from the high grit we used to sand as well as the oil. I'm really happy with how this came out. It wasn't too complex. It didn't take too much time. There's a lot of room for error. So if anyone out there makes one for themselves, I'd love to see it. Please check out my Instagram account or the other videos on this channel. Let me know if you have any advice or if you like the video. And thanks for watching.